Some people are only meant to be in your life for a season. Stop trying to hold on to folks that God is trying to remove. When people walk away, let them go. Don't beg, don't chase, don't try to make them stay. If they can walk away from you, they were never tied to your destiny. See, everybody that comes with you can't go with you. Some folks were only there to teach you a lesson, to show you something about yourself, to push you into your purpose. But when their time is up, you gotta let them go. You keep crying over people who left, but what if their leaving was the blessing? What if their exit made room for what God really has for you? Holding on to dead weight will slow you down. You can't fly holding on to baggage. Let them go and watch how fast you rise. There are people who come into your life for a reason, and there are people who come for a season. The problem is, too many of us try to make seasonal people a permanent part of our journey. We hold on, we beg, we plead, we try to make them stay, but the truth is they were never meant to stay forever. Their purpose in your life was temporary. They were there to teach you something, to help you grow, to push you toward your destiny, but once that purpose is fulfilled, their time is up. And when their time is up, you have to recognize it and be willing to let them go. The mistake we make is that we get too attached. We start building our future around people who are only meant to be with us for a short while. We create plans with them in mind, we share our dreams, we give them parts of ourselves thinking they will always be there. But when they leave, we find ourselves broken, confused, and wondering what went wrong. What went wrong is that we tried to make something last that was never designed to. Some people are like the leaves on a tree. When the season changes, they fall away. Others are like branches. They seem strong, but when the weight of life gets too heavy, they break. Only a few are like roots, planted deep, firm, and unshakable. You have to know who's who in your life so you don't end up depending on leaves to hold you up. It's hard to accept that some people are temporary because we invest so much in them. We give our time, our energy, our love, our trust, and then one day they are gone. It hurts, but that pain is often a sign that they have fulfilled their role. You might not see it now, but later when you look back, you'll realize that their presence was necessary, but so was their departure. They came into your life to serve a purpose, maybe to encourage you, maybe to challenge you, maybe to show you what you need to change. But once that purpose is served, the season shifts and they move on. Some people come to wake something up inside of you. They show you a different way of thinking. They expose you to something new, or they push you into situations that force you to grow. It might be uncomfortable, it might not make sense, but in the grand scheme of things, they were a part of your journey, not your destination. If you try to hold on to them longer than you should, you'll find yourself stuck, unable to move forward, weighed down by something that was never meant to go the distance with you. When you understand that some people are only meant to be in your life for a season, you stop fighting their departure. You stop questioning why they left. You stop blaming yourself. You stop thinking you did something wrong. Some people leave not because of anything you did, but because their season expired. No matter how much you want them to stay, no matter how much history you have together, no matter how deep the connection feels, when their time is up, nothing you do can keep them. Holding on to the past, trying to make people stay, will only delay what's next for you. The longer you hold on to someone who is meant to be seasonal, the longer you block the ones who are meant to stay. You can't receive what's ahead if your hands are full of what's behind. Letting go isn't easy, but it's necessary. Growth requires release. Success demands that you make space for the right people, the right opportunities, and the right energy. If you're too busy trying to hold on to those who were meant to leave, you'll miss what's meant to come. When you understand that some people are only meant for a season, you gain peace. You stop crying over who left and you start focusing on who's still with you. You stop chasing relationships that are fading and you start embracing the ones that are solid. You stop mourning what's lost and you start looking forward to what's ahead. Some people were never meant to go all the way with you, and that's okay. Their role in your life was to prepare you, not to complete you. Once you accept that, you free yourself from unnecessary pain, unnecessary attachments, and unnecessary distractions. Too often we let seasonal people break us. We take their departure as a sign that we're not good enough, that we're unworthy, that something is wrong with us. But that's not true. Their exit has nothing to do with your worth and everything to do with timing. Life moves in cycles. Just like the seasons change, so do people. Some come with the warmth of summer, filling your days with joy, but when winter comes, they disappear. That doesn't mean summer was worthless, it just means that its time had passed. Some people bring storms, some bring sunshine, some bring lessons, and some bring love. But whatever they bring, once their season is over, they leave. That's how life works. That's how growth works. The moment you stop trying to keep seasonal people beyond their time is the moment you start truly growing. You stop forcing connections that no longer serve you. You stop waiting for people to return who were never meant to stay. You stop trying to recreate moments that have already passed. Instead, just and appreciate the time you had, take the lessons you gained, and move forward. Every person who enters your life plays a role. Some are there to support, some are there to challenge, some are there to teach, and some are there to push you to your next level. But not all of them are meant to stay. When people start pulling away from you, when they stop calling, when they stop showing up, when their energy shifts and they begin to distance themselves, stop chasing after them. Stop holding on to people that God is trying to remove from your life. Stop begging them to stay. Stop trying to make things work that are no longer meant to work. Stop forcing relationships that have run their course. When someone's role in your life is done, you have to recognize it and release them. One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to hold on to what God is removing. You pray for growth, you ask for success, you want new opportunities, but when the people who can't go with you start leaving, you fight against it. You hold on to friendships that drain you, relationships that stunt your growth, connections that no longer serve you. You're trying to hold on to people who are holding you back. You don't even realize that their absence is a blessing, that their departure is making space for something better. Too many people are afraid of losing what's familiar. Even when it no longer serves them, they cling to it because it's comfortable. But comfort isn't always good for you. Sometimes what feels safe is what's keeping you stuck. Sometimes the people you're holding on to are the very ones preventing you from becoming who you're meant to be. Not everyone is supposed to stay. Not everyone is part of your destiny. Some people were only meant to be with you for a certain time. And when their time is up, you have to let them go. You have to understand that not everyone can go where you're going. Some people are only meant to walk with you for a little while. When they start pulling away, it's not always a bad thing. It's not always rejection. It's not always betrayal. Sometimes it's just life moving the pieces around, shifting things in your favor, setting you up for your next level. But you can't step into your next level if you keep holding on to people from your last one. When God is trying to remove someone from your life, He will allow things to happen that show you their true nature. Maybe they stop supporting you. Maybe they become toxic. Maybe they start treating you differently. Maybe they no longer align with your values and your vision. These aren't accidents. These are signs. Signs that their role in your life is over. Signs that you need to move on. But too often, instead of paying attention to the signs, you ignore them. You keep making excuses for people who have shown you exactly who they are. You keep allowing behaviors that are beneath the standard you set for yourself. You keep holding on to what God is trying to remove, and then you wonder why you feel stuck. Holding on to the wrong people will block your blessings. It will drain your energy, steal your focus, and keep you tied to the past. You can't make progress while dragging dead weight. You can't grow if you're still entertaining people who were never meant to go the distance with you. Some people were only meant to be in your life for a season, for a lesson, for a moment. But when that moment is gone, you have to be willing to move forward without them. Letting go is not about bitterness, it's about wisdom. It's about knowing when to release something that no longer benefits you. It's about recognizing when a connection is holding you back instead of pushing you forward. It's about choosing yourself, choosing your peace, choosing your growth over the comfort of the familiar. The people who are truly meant to be in your life will never need to be forced to stay. They will be there because they want to be. They will add to your life, not drain from it. They will support your vision, not compete with it. They will walk with you, not hold you back. It takes strength to let go, but it takes wisdom to know when to. You have to stop trying to force people to stay in places they no longer belong. You have to stop holding on to relationships that no longer bring you joy. You have to stop making space in your life for people who don't value you. The right people will always make room for you. The right people will always support you. The right people will never need to be convinced to be there. If someone is meant to be in your life, nothing will take them away. But if someone is meant to leave, nothing will make them stay. Stop fighting against what's meant to happen. Stop resisting what is necessary for your growth. The people who truly belong in your life will never need to be chased, begged, or convinced. The people who can't handle your growth, your purpose, your journey, they will remove themselves. And when they do, let them go. If someone can wipe from you, let them go. If they can leave without hesitation, if they can turn their back on you, if they can walk out of your life without looking back, that means they were never truly meant to stay. You don't have to beg people to be in your life. You don't have to convince them of your worth. You don't have to force anyone to see your value. The ones who are meant for you will stay. And the ones who leave were never tied to your destiny in the first place. Too many people waste time chasing those who have already decided to leave. They cry, they plead, they try to understand what went wrong. But the truth is, nothing went wrong. Life has a way of separating you from people who are no longer aligned with your purpose. It's not rejection, it's redirection. You're being pulled away from what no longer serves you. You're being freed from attachments that were never meant to last. Some people were only supposed to be in your life for a season, and when that season is over, they have to go. Holding on to them will only slow you down. When someone chooses to walk away, let them. Don't fight for someone who isn't fighting for you. Don't hold on to someone who has already let go. Love yourself enough to release them without resentment, without bitterness, without trying to make them stay. If they were meant to be in your life, they wouldn't leave. If they truly valued you, they would make an effort. If they cared as much as you do, you wouldn't have to chase them. The right people don't need to be convinced to stay. Sometimes people leave because they can't handle where you're going. Your growth makes them uncomfortable. Your purpose intimidates them. Your success reminds them of what they haven't accomplished. So instead of supporting you, instead of growing with you, they walk away. Let them. Don't shrink yourself to make them feel comfortable. Don't downplay your dreams to keep them around. If your elevation causes them to leave, then they were never meant to rise with you. It's painful when people walk away, but pain has a purpose. That heartbreak, that disappointment, that betrayal, it's teaching you something. It's showing you who truly belongs in your life. It's revealing who is temporary and who is permanent. When someone walks away, they make space for someone better. They create room for people who will love you the way you deserve, who will support you without conditions, who will stand by you no matter what. But you'll never receive what's meant for you if you keep holding on to what's not. Stop questioning why they left. Stop replaying the past, trying to figure out what you could have done differently. You didn't do anything wrong. Some people leave because their time in your life is up. Their role in your story is complete. Not everyone is meant to be with you forever. Some people are just passing through, teaching you lessons, preparing you for what's next. And when their time is up, they leave. That's not your fault. That's life. You can't force someone to see your value. You can't make someone appreciate you. You can't hold on to someone who has already let go. Let them walk away with grace, with peace, with the understanding that their absence is making room for something greater. What's ahead of you is always better than what's behind you, but you'll never see it if you're too busy chasing what's already gone. Some people were never meant to go where you're going. Some people were never designed to be a part of your future. They were just a chapter, not the whole book. When they leave, don't go running after them. Don't waste time trying to change their mind. If they can walk away, they were never truly connected to your destiny. The right people will never leave. The right people will never make you question your worth. The right people will stand beside you no matter what. You are not losing anything when the wrong people walk away. You are gaining clarity, gaining freedom, gaining space for something better. When people leave, let them go. Don't hold on to what's trying to leave your life. Let them go so you can move forward without the weight of people who were never meant to stay. Not everyone is tied to your destiny. Some people come into your life for a moment, a lesson or a season, but that doesn't mean they are meant to stay forever. Too often we try to hold on to people who were never designed to walk with us to the next level. We attach ourselves to relationships that were only meant to be temporary, hoping that if we love hard enough, give enough, or sacrifice enough, they will stay. But the truth is, no matter how much you give, no matter how much history you have, if someone is not tied to your destiny, they will eventually drift away. When you begin to grow, when you step into your purpose, when you start moving towards the future that was meant for you, not everyone will be able to handle it. Some people are comfortable with the version of you that they've always known. They are comfortable with you struggling, with you staying the same, with you being predictable. But the moment you start shifting, the moment you start breaking patterns, the moment you start demanding more out of life, some people will pull away, and that's okay. It's not your job to convince them to stay. It's not your job to make them understand your journey. Some people are only meant to be with you for a certain chapter, and when that chapter ends, they have to go. You can't take everyone with you. There are some people who are not equipped to go where you're going. Their mindset is too small. Their vision is too limited. Their energy is too negative. They don't believe in themselves, so they can't possibly believe in you. They don't see the potential in their own lives, so they can't see the greatness in yours. If you keep trying to drag them along, if you keep trying to hold on to them out of loyalty, out of guilt, out of fear of being alone, you will only slow yourself down. The weight of carrying people who are not meant for your future will drain you. Some people will resist your growth because it forces them to confront their own lack of progress. As long as you stay at their level, they feel comfortable, but the moment you start rising, they start feeling insecure. They start doubting themselves. They start resenting you. And instead of celebrating your growth, instead of being happy for your success, they start criticizing you. They start questioning why you've changed, why you're moving differently, why you don't have time for the same conversations, the same habits, the same negativity. It's because you are evolving. You are stepping into something bigger, something better, something greater. And not everyone can handle that. You have to be willing to release what no longer aligns with your purpose. If someone is not tied to your destiny, they will only become a distraction. They will hold you back. They will make you second guess yourself. They will cause unnecessary delays, unnecessary pain, unnecessary setbacks. You have to recognize when it's time to let go. That doesn't mean you stop loving them. That doesn't mean you stop caring. It simply means you stop forcing connections that are no longer meant to be. The people who are truly tied to your destiny will walk with you, not hold you back. They will encourage you, not compete with you. They will support your dreams, not belittle them. They will understand your growth, not resent it. These are the people you need in your life. These are the relationships worth nurturing, worth investing in, worth holding on to. Everyone else will either fade away on their own, reveal themselves as distractions, and when they do, you have to be strong enough to release them. You cannot fulfill your purpose while carrying people who were never meant to be a part of it. You cannot reach your destiny while staying attached to those who are only meant to be temporary. Growth requires separation. Purpose requires alignment. Success requires sacrifice. If someone is not tied to your destiny, you have to be willing to let them go so you can step into what is truly meant for you. Some people are only meant to be in your life for a season. They come with a purpose, they bring lessons, they help you in some way, but when their time is up, they have to go. The problem is, too many people try to make seasonal relationships permanent. They hold on to people who were never meant to stay, trying to force connections that have already served their purpose. When you hold on to what has expired, you only bring unnecessary pain, disappointment, and struggle into your life. Seasons change for a reason. Just like the trees let go of their leaves in the fall, you have to learn how to release people when their season is over. If you keep trying to hold on to something that is meant to leave, you will only make it harder on yourself. You will feel stuck, frustrated, and confused because you are trying to keep something in your life that is no longer aligned with your future. The people who are meant to stay will stay. The people who are meant to go will go. No amount of begging, pleading, or forcing will change that. Some people come into your life to teach you something. They help you grow, they push you to become better. They challenge you in ways you never expected. But once their lesson is done, they leave. That doesn't mean they were bad people. That doesn't mean you did something wrong. It just means their purpose in your life has been fulfilled. Holding on to them after their season is over will only lead to unnecessary hard ash. It will cause tension, misalignment, and even resentment. Instead of holding on, you have to learn to appreciate the role they played in your journey, be grateful for the lessons they brought, and let them go when the time comes. Sometimes people leave because they have outgrown you. Other times people leave because you have outgrown them. Growth requires change, and change requires separation. If you are evolving into the person you are meant to be, there will be relationships that no longer fit. The conversations that used to excite you won't interest you anymore. The activities you used to enjoy won't bring you the same fulfillment. The connections you once held close will start to feel distant. This is not a bad thing. It's a sign that you are moving into a new season. But if you try to drag people into your next chapter who were only meant to be in the last one, you will create unnecessary tension and conflict. Some people will fight to stay in your life even when they no longer belong there. They will try to hold on because they are comfortable, because they don't want to lose the benefits of being connected to you because they fear change. But just because someone wants to stay doesn't mean they should. Not everyone who wants access to you deserves it. Not everyone who wants to be in your life has your best interests at heart. Some people want to stay because they see your potential, but they have no intention of growing with you. Others want to stay because they enjoy what you bring to their life, but they are not willing to reciprocate that energy. You have to be discerning enough to recognize when a season has ended and strong enough to close the door. You don't have to be angry to let people go. You don't have to hold grudges. You don't have to cut them off with bitterness. You can release people with love, with gratitude, with understanding. You can acknowledge the impact they had on your life while also recognizing that their time with you has ended. Letting go is not always about losing something. Sometimes it's about making room for something better. The right people will enter your life at the right time. The right opportunities will come when you are ready. But if you are still holding on to what no longer serves you, you won't have space to receive what is meant for you. The longer you hold on to expired relationships, the longer you delay your blessings. Some doors have to close before new ones can open. Some connections have to end before better ones can begin. Some people have to leave so you can step into the next season of your life without the weight of unnecessary baggage. Trust that the people who are meant to be in your life will always be there. You don't have to force them to stay. You don't have to chase after them. You don't have to convince them of your worth. The right people will stay through every season. They will grow with you, evolve with you, and support you as you become who you are meant to be. The people who were only meant for a season will leave. And when they do, you have to be willing to let them everybody in your life is not meant to be permanent. Some people come for a short time, some for a little longer, and very few are meant to be with you for life. The problem comes when you try to hold on to the ones who were never meant to stay. You invest your energy in relationships that have expired. You hold on to friendships that have outlived their purpose, and you keep trying to make things work when they are already broken beyond repair. But when something is no longer meant for you, you have to be strong enough to recognize it and wise enough to let it go. You can't carry dead weight and expect to move forward. You can't keep dragging relationships that have lost their meaning and expect to grow. Some people have served their purpose in your life. They have played their role, taught their lessons, and now their time is up. Holding on to them won't change that. You have to know when a connection has reached its limit. It doesn't mean there was no value in that relationship. It doesn't mean you didn't care. It simply means their part in your story has ended, and you can't keep rewriting a chapter that is already finished. The longer you hold on to what no longer belongs, the more you will delay what is truly meant for you. You can't move into your future while still clinging to your past. You can't step into your blessings while still entertaining people who don't support your purpose. Some relationships are distractions. They keep you stuck. They drain your energy. They make you second guess yourself. If you don't recognize when it's time to let go, you will spend your life carrying burdens that were never yours to hold. Letting go is not a sign of weakness. It's not a lack of love. It's not betrayal. It's knowing that you deserve better. It's understanding that your peace, your growth, and your purpose matter more than holding on to relationships that no longer align with who you are becoming. Some people are not meant to grow with you. They were meant to be a part of your journey, but they were never meant to be a part of your destination. If you keep forcing them to stay, you will only hold yourself back. You have to surround yourself with people who push you forward, not those who pull you down. People who encourage you, not those who discourage your dreams. People who bring peace, not those who create chaos. If someone is always bringing negativity, always doubting your abilities, always making you feel small, that is a sign they are not meant to continue with you. You can love people from a distance. You can wish them well and still walk away. Just because someone was a part of your past doesn't mean they belong in your future. Too many people stay in unhealthy relationships because they are afraid of being alone. They stay in friendships that no longer serve them because they are afraid of change. They keep connections alive out of guilt, out of obligation, out of fear. But nothing good ever comes from forcing something that has run its course. You can't be afraid to walk away when something no longer fits. You can't be so attached to people that you forget to be attached to your own growth. Growth requires sacrifice. It requires making tough choices. It requires walking away from people you once thought would be with you forever. It's never easy, but it's necessary. If you want to step into all that life has for you, you have to be willing to release what is holding you back. You have to stop entertaining relationships that drain your energy. You have to stop holding on to people out of fear. You have to stop settling for less than what you deserve just because it's familiar. The right people will never require you to shrink yourself to keep them. They will never demand that you dim your light so they can shine. They will never make you feel like you are too much, too ambitious, too different. The right people will see your growth and celebrate it. They will support your dreams. They will push you forward instead of holding you back. The wrong people will make you feel guilty for evolving. They will resist your change. They will try to keep you in the same place because that's where they are comfortable. You have to be strong enough to choose yourself. You have to recognize when it's time to let go. You have to stop holding on to what no longer fits your life. Every relationship is not meant to last forever. Some people are seasonal, and when their season is over, you have to be willing to release them. If you don't, you will only delay your own growth. You will keep missing out on the people who are truly meant for you because you are too busy holding on to those who were never meant to stay. Loyalty is a beautiful thing, but it should never come at the expense of your growth. Too many people stay connected to relationships, friendships, and environments that no longer serve them simply because they feel obligated to. They tell themselves that because someone was there for them in the past, they have to keep them in their life forever. But the truth is, loyalty should never be one-sided. It should never require you to shrink yourself, suppress your dreams, or hold yourself back just to make someone else comfortable. There's a difference between being loyal and being stuck. Some people expect you to be loyal to them while they remain disloyal to your growth. They expect you to stay the same, to stay in the same patterns, to stay at the same level, because that is what makes them feel secure. The moment you start to change, the moment you start evolving into a better version of yourself, they start questioning your loyalty. But real loyalty does not mean staying stagnant. It does not mean sacrificing your purpose to keep someone else happy. It does not mean being held hostage by relationships that have outlived their purpose. Some people will call you disloyal the moment you decide to put yourself first. The moment you stop allowing their negativity to drain you. The moment you stop answering calls that leave you feeling empty. The moment you stop showing up for people who never show up for you. But that is not disloyalty, that is self-respect. You are not obligated to remain in spaces that no longer nurture you. You are not required to hold on to relationships that drain your energy, that belittle your dreams, that make you feel small. You have every right to choose peace over chaos, purpose over comfort, and growth over stagnation. Real loyalty is reciprocal. It is mutual. It is based on respect, support, and love. If someone only wants you around because they benefit from you, because they depend on your energy, because they need your support but are never willing to give the same in return, that is not loyalty, that is manipulation. Some people don't want you to grow because your growth exposes their lack of it. Your ambition reminds them of the dreams they gave up on. Your success forces them to look at their own stagnation. And instead of growing with you, they try to hold you back. You cannot be loyal to people who are not loyal to your growth. You cannot continue to sacrifice yourself for those who never sacrifice for you. You cannot keep pouring into people who never pour back into you. At some point, you have to realize that loyalty does not mean carrying people who refuse to walk on their own. You can love people and still move forward without them. You can appreciate the role they played in your life and still recognize when it is time to let them go. Loyalty should never be a prison. It should never keep you bound to situations that make you unhappy. It should never require you to choose between your dreams and your relationships. The people who truly love you will want to see you win. They will want to see you grow. They will encourage you, push you, celebrate you. They will never guilt you for evolving. But those who are only loyal to the version of you that serves their needs, they will resist your growth. They will try to make you feel guilty for changing. They will try to hold you to an outdated version of yourself that no longer exists. You have to be bold enough to choose yourself. You have to be wise enough to recognize when a relationship is no longer serving you. You have to be strong enough to walk away from those who only want you to be loyal on their terms. It is not selfish to put yourself first. It is not wrong to prioritize your peace. It is not betrayal to outgrow people who refuse to grow with you. If someone truly values you, they will respect your growth. They will support your evolution. They will understand that your journey requires change. Some people are only meant to walk with you for part of the journey. Some relationships are only meant for a season. Some connections will fade as you step into your purpose. That is not a bad thing, it is just a part of life. Holding on to expired relationships out of guilt will only slow you down. Staying loyal to people who are disloyal to your growth will only keep you stuck. The right people will never require you to dim your light to make them feel comfortable. They will never make you feel guilty for moving forward. They will walk with you, support you, and celebrate your success. The rest, you have to be willing to let go. Not everyone who starts with you will finish with you. Life is a journey, And along the way, people will come and go. Some will walk with you for a little while, some will stay a bit longer, and a very select few will be there for the long haul. But one of the hardest lessons to learn is that some of the people you love the most, some of the ones you thought would always be there, will not be able to go where you are going. They were only meant to be part of the process, not part of the destination. It's painful when people you counted on start to drift away. It's confusing when relationships that once felt so strong start to fade. But just because someone was good for you in one season doesn't mean they are meant for the next. Some people are like scaffolding in your life. They help you build, they provide support, they play a role in your growth. But when their job is done, the scaffolding has to be removed. If you try to hold on to it, you will only hinder what is meant to be built next. You have to recognize when people's roles in your life have ended. You have to be willing to release them with love instead of holding on with resentment. The longer you try to make something work that has already expired, the more frustration and pain you will experience. Some people are not leaving you because they are bad people. They are not leaving because you did something wrong. They are leaving because their part in your journey is complete. Holding on to them will not change that. The challenge comes when you try to force relationships that are no longer aligned with your future. You keep calling people who don't call you back. You keep chasing friendships that have lost their connection. You keep making space for people who no longer make space for you. But forcing people to stay in your life when they no longer belong there only creates unnecessary pain. It drains your energy. It holds you back. It keeps you from stepping into what's next because you're too busy trying to hold on to what was. Some people can't go where you are going because they are not willing to grow with you. They are comfortable where they are, and they don't want to do the work to evolve. They see you changing, elevating, and they start to feel insecure. Instead of being inspired by your growth, they feel threatened by it. Instead of celebrating your success, they try to downplay it. Instead of supporting your dreams, they start to question them. And little by little, the relationship starts to shift. Pay attention to the signs. Notice when conversations no longer feel uplifting. Notice when your energy feels drained instead of inspired. Notice when people start to treat you differently, when they stop showing up for you, when they no longer align with the direction you are going. Some people will distance themselves because your growth makes them uncomfortable. Others will try to keep you in the same place because they don't want to lose the version of you they once knew. But you cannot let people's resistance to your growth stop you from becoming who you are meant to be. Letting go is not always easy, but it is necessary. You have to be willing to release the relationships that no longer align with your future. You have to trust that the people who are truly meant for you will never require you to shrink yourself to keep them. They will never ask you to lower your standards. They will never try to hold you back from your purpose. The right people will walk with you, grow with you, and encourage you every step of the way. The wrong ones will make you feel guilty for changing, for wanting more, for refusing to settle. You can't spend your life trying to convince people to stay. You can't waste your energy trying to force relationships that have run their course. You have to be okay with walking away from what no longer serves you. You have to be willing to embrace change, even when it means leaving some people behind. Everybody can't go where you're going, and that's okay. Some relationships will fade, some friendships will end, some connections will be lost. But the right ones, the ones that are truly meant for you, will always remain. In life, you will face the inevitable moment when you have to let go of people, places, or things that are no longer contributing positively to your growth. It's a reality that is often difficult to accept, but it's necessary for your evolution. Growth isn't always a linear process. It's full of twists, turns, and changes, and sometimes that means shedding things that were once important to you. The truth is, not everything in your life is meant to stay with you forever, no matter how hard it may be to accept that reality. One of the hardest things to do is recognize when it's time to move on from something or someone. Often we cling to the past because it feels safe. We hold on to old relationships, old habits, or old mindsets because they're familiar. The comfort of the known feels more secure than the uncertainty of change. But as much as it may hurt, holding on to things that no longer serve your purpose will only keep you stuck. You will find yourself in a constant cycle of frustration, feeling like you're doing everything you can to move forward, but you're not really getting anywhere. This is because the things you are holding on to are weighing you down. People in particular, it can be one of the hardest things to release. We often feel obligated to keep relationships going because of loyalty or love. We think that because someone has been in our life for a long time, they are supposed to be there forever. But just because someone was once important to you doesn't mean they should remain in your life as you grow and evolve. People change, and sometimes those changes mean that they no longer align with your goals or your values. The relationships that once brought you joy may now bring you stress or disappointment, and you need to recognize when it's time to step away. This doesn't mean you don't appreciate the role they played in your life. It simply means that their season with you has come to an end. When you hold on to relationships that no longer serve you, you risk not only stagnation, but also the possibility of missing out on new opportunities and new connections. Every time you hold on to something that isn't meant for you, you are closing yourself off to what could be waiting around the corner. There are people who will come into your life who will support you, encourage you, and challenge you in ways that the people you are holding on to can't. You have to make space for them. It's also essential to recognize that letting go doesn't always mean cutting people off completely. Sometimes it's about giving the relationship the space it needs to breathe. It's about recognizing that some people need to take a step back, and that's okay. Letting go doesn't always have to be a dramatic event. Sometimes it's simply allowing yourself the freedom to move forward without guilt. People come into our lives for different reasons, and it's up to us to decide when their purpose has been fulfilled. In some cases, the thing you need to let go of is not a person, but an attachment to a certain way of thinking. Often we are tied to limiting beliefs about who we are, what we can achieve, or how we should live. These beliefs can prevent us from stepping into the greatness that is within us. They hold us back, keeping us from fully embracing who we are meant to be. When you hold on to outdated ideas about yourself, you close yourself off to the possibility of becoming someone greater. Sometimes letting go of these beliefs is the hardest part of the process, but it's often the most liberating. You have to let go of the idea that you are not good enough, not worthy, or not capable of achieving your dreams. Letting go of these limiting beliefs will open the door to unlimited potential. There are times when letting go involves a painful decision, and that's okay. Growth is not always comfortable. It's easy to hold on to what you know, but true growth requires stepping into the unknown. It requires releasing control and trusting that the future will unfold as it's meant to, even if it's not what you expected. The people, places, and things you let go of may leave a void, but it's through that void that new things can come into your life. You have to trust that what you are releasing is making space for what's next. The act of letting go is not an indication of failure or weakness. It's a sign of strength. It shows that you have the courage to make the hard choices, the wisdom to recognize when something is no longer beneficial to you, and the self-respect to prioritize your own growth over maintaining comfort. It shows that you are willing to step into your next chapter without fear. It takes a lot of courage to make space for new things and to embrace the unknown, but that is where the magic happens. That is where you will find the growth, the success, and the fulfillment you have been searching for. You have to be willing to let go of the old to make room for the new. You have to trust that the universe is guiding you towards something better. Sometimes the most challenging part of personal growth is learning to say goodbye. Not every relationship, connection, or situation is meant to last forever, and realizing this truth can be difficult. We often form attachments to things, people, and places because they provide a sense of comfort, stability, or familiarity. However, growth requires us to step into new territory, to embrace change, and to allow space for something new to enter our lives. If you are truly committed to your personal evolution, you will eventually face the need to let go of things that no longer serve your best interests. Letting go is not an easy task, and it requires a deep understanding that you cannot move forward if you are holding on to what no longer fits your life. Sometimes we keep people in our lives out of a sense of obligation or loyalty. We convince ourselves that because someone has been with us through thick and thin, we owe it to them to maintain that relationship, even if it's no longer serving us in a positive way. But loyalty does not mean staying stuck in unhealthy situations. True loyalty is recognizing when someone or something is no longer a part of your growth and allowing space for something new to emerge. We all have people who come into our lives at different times and for different reasons. Some of them are meant to stay, while others are only meant to be with us for a short period. The challenge is being able to recognize the difference. Not every person who crosses your path is meant to go with you on your entire journey. Some people may have been there to teach you a lesson or to help you through a particular season, but once that season ends, it's important to acknowledge that the relationship may have reached its expiration point. Holding on to people because of the past can prevent you from fully embracing what the future has for you. When you hold on to relationships that are no longer serving you, you are limiting your own growth. Every relationship is a two-way street, and it's essential to be honest with yourself about whether the relationship is mutually beneficial. If you are constantly the one giving, sacrificing, or compromising without receiving the same in return, you are allowing yourself to be drained. You are allowing your energy to be depleted, and your focus to be diverted from your personal goals and aspirations. You may find yourself stuck in a pattern of giving without ever receiving what you truly need from the relationship. In these situations, letting go can be one of the most empowering decisions you can make. It's also important to recognize that letting go does not mean you have to harbor any negative feelings toward the person or situation. Sometimes letting go is simply acknowledging that the relationship has run its course and that it's time for both parties to move on. People can still have an impact on your life, even if they are no longer physically present. The lessons they taught you, the memories you shared, and the growth you experienced because of them will always be a part of you. Letting go doesn't mean you erase the past. It simply means you are choosing not to be bound by it anymore. There's a deep sense of freedom that comes with releasing what no longer serves you. It's like clearing away the clutter in your life so that you can make room for new opportunities, new people, and new experiences. When you hold on to what no longer fits, you create a barrier to what could be better for you. It's as if you are carrying a heavy load, preventing yourself from moving freely and fully engaging in what life has to offer. Letting go lifts that burden and allows you to step into your future with open arms. The fear of letting go often stems from the uncertainty of what lies ahead. We fear the unknown, and that fear can keep us trapped in situations that are familiar but unfulfilling. We fear that if we let go, we will be left with nothing. But the reality is that when you let go, you make space for the possibilities that you can't yet see. You open the door to new opportunities, new experiences, and new relationships that will help you grow even more. The universe has a way of filling the spaces we leave open with things that are aligned with our highest good. You have to trust that the next chapter will be better than the last. Letting go is also about releasing control. It's about acknowledging that not everything is meant to be in your life forever. Some things are meant to come and go, and holding on too tightly only creates unnecessary struggle. You cannot control how people behave or how situations unfold, but you can control how you respond to them. By letting go, you free yourself from the need to force things that aren't meant to be, and you allow the natural flow of life to guide you where you need to go. As you grow and evolve, the people and things that once supported you may no longer be the right fit. That's okay. Life is not static, and neither are you. You will outgrow certain relationships, environments, and circumstances as you move forward. The key is to recognize when it's time to release, trust that better things are on the horizon, and have the courage to let go. It's not always easy, but it's always necessary for the next stage of your journey.